What's up, guys?
What's going on, everybody? We got one here from Denmo. Men aged 25 to 35 are having an existential crisis right now. That is a understatement.
Guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing a raw one, and I'm going to talk about the fact that the majority of the people that you know are going through an existential crisis, especially as a guy. Like, it's such a dude thing to like bottle up your emotions inside and then just put them into working out or doing work or pursuing a hobby or something like that. Whereas girls, anytime they feel some kind of pain or uncertainty, anxiety, they have like a million people to talk to. Like, girls literally will have group chats and Snapchat each other every single day. Guys, we'll go like months at a time, sometimes years, without talking to other friends of ours. And then as soon as we run into them, like, oh, what's up, dude? How have you been? Oh, I'm good. Everybody says they're good, right? But let's be honest, we're not doing so good, right? I'm talking about those of you that are like 25 to 30.
Look, I was the same exact way of what he's saying, where most of us are, until you find a genuine friend group of individuals that you respect. And it's hard, man. It's not easy. Go to an MMA gym. These are interesting people. Go to a motorcycle club. Those are interesting people. You have to try to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Until the only way in the soft world that we live in today for you to find interesting men is in like, those are like a gym, a boxing, a combat sports gym. Like, those are one of the last meccas for you to meet real men anymore. And that's where I didn't go, but my friend went back when I was living in Arizona, and he introduced me to a bunch of those guys, and they're wired pretty much the same way I was, man. Very type A, very high performing in whatever they did in life. And we had incredible friendships spawn out of that, and a little tribe was created of men I highly respected. And we each were very good at what we were doing. And that was the first time in my life where I met a group where I could share and actually not feel like I would get judged or shut down. Everybody was just super open. These were absolute killers, but we're so in tune with their emotions. No bottling shit up inside, anything. It's so hard to find that, dude. Now that I've been out here, as a normal dude, I am isolated again until you go to an MMA gym and maybe meet some of those people. But you have to put yourself in these positions and meet these kinds of people. It takes work, especially as a man, because we lose our friend groups because after school, you already lose a majority of the friends you made because they go off to college. Then when you go out of college, you make some more friends that then you will then lose when they get girlfriends and start families and move for jobs and shit. So it's a never ending cycle. You have to foster these relationships. It's not easy, but they could save your life. Do not isolate yourself.
35, you're a little bit over your mid-20s, and you're starting to kind of like get confused about the trajectory of your life. You're not really sure what you're going through or how to navigate it, because how do you drive something if you don't know what you're driving, right? So I'm going to kind of unpack that over the course of this video. But when you're going through something, maybe it's like you're not sure what you want to do with your job, or you got some relationship issues, you never want to actually ask for help. You never want to tell anybody until the last possible minute when you absolutely have to. So I just started hitting up old friends of mine that I haven't talked to in a while. I called them, hey, let's hang out, let's grab some drinks, let's go to the movies, whatever it is, right? I did this with like 5 or 6 different friends. And each one of the friends I spoke to, instead of like accepting the typical like, hey, how you doing, man? Oh, I'm good. I was like, nah, man, tell me what's actually going on. Because you're going to have a lot of people in your life that'll say, hey, what's up, dude? Everything cool? Yeah, everything's fine. And then they just leave it there. They leave it at surface level. I think that we do that as men because we respect like that you don't want to talk about it, you know? And there's so many guys that you know, girls too, that deep down, they're not happy. They got some issues going on. They're having an existential crisis, but they don't want to talk about it because it's like, hey, I don't want to talk about myself. I don't want to complain or whatever, right? I remember talking to my one friend, and he's in real estate. Things have been very slow lately, and he's in a bad situation. He's at this firm, and they're putting all this pressure on him to sell more houses. But the way that they like get more business is doing pretty shady stuff, like big high interest loans. It's like, you know, those companies where like, hey, if the bank won't give you money, we will. Just like high pressure selling. I could tell that it was weighing on him because he also lives at home with his parents. He's trying so hard. He's cold calling. He's going door to door, and he's just not getting the sales he needs. And because of that, he feels like a loser, and he feels like he's just not doing good enough, right? And when you feel that way, it affects your confidence everywhere else in life. So, you know, his dating life isn't going so well. Then I talked to another friend.
And the issue with sharing stuff like this with your friend group is that not everybody in the group are your real friends. We are surrounded by snakes sometimes, quite a bit, actually, more than people would like to admit. And coming by ride or dies in your lifetime is extremely rare. It's hard, man. So the men that are watching this video can probably remember times where they got burned by sharing something with a friend and it was used against them. It's very unfortunate, but it happens. So you start to pull away from people in general. You can't trust even who you thought were your homies. And you got betrayed when you shared something with like the utmost security clearance that only the ride or die should know, that you could trust with information, and ended up you hear it from a friend. Two best friends eat together, that guy with his other best friend, and they share that shit. Then that guy shares it during pillow talk. Well, my friend's got this friend, shares it with a woman, that woman shares it with, and all of a sudden your secret is not so secret anymore. It's hard to find genuine people you could trust in the world today. So I understand, dude. There's a lot of guys lonely right now, had friends, lost them for various reasons, struggling to get new ones. We're more connected than ever, right? So that's the technological age.
He runs his own business. This year, things have been very slow, which is a common theme here in Canada. Business is slow, taxes are high, the government's just on a whole new fucking level, and it's just crazy right now. People aren't paying for the services he offers anymore, so his employees are like taking jobs at other places. And
also this, when you're like unloading on somebody, by the way, imagine they're going through some shit too. Like everybody's going through some shit. And because you're courteous, like the last thing you want to do is unload your problems on someone else that's most likely having problems too. Yeah, bro, let me vent and break down and tell you how shitty my life is going and my relationship and my job and whatever, boss, family, my parent, all that. Let me just unload on you without even realizing that you're probably going through some similar shit. I mean, do you want to be that guy? Most guys don't want to be that guy. But the truth is everybody's going through some level of shit, and you just got to be the shoulder ready. Stand firm. Hey, bro, I'm going through some shit too, but air it out, G. Let me hear all of it. Don't hold nothing back. And you just got to be that emotional tampon. It's funny to say, but it could save your life, bro. I've had moments like that. I've had extreme moments in my life where I thought everything, it's over. I fucked up. That's it. I failed. And I had a homie, shout outs to Keith, took me on a hike. Legendary. For me, it was a couple of shrooms, some hero doses, but dude just lent me his ear for a massive ear beating, massive stress relief, got so much pressure and weight off my shoulders, and he didn't even have to say much, bro. He was just there listening. We were chilling out, vibing in the woods, in nature, swimming, jumping off some rocks, and that's all it took, man. Just an ear to hear me out, tell me, you're good, bro. Everything's going to be okay. You've been in tough situations before. Keep it pushing, and that's it. The man begins to right himself, but who knows where I would have circled the drain and gone down the hole had he not been there to do something as simple as just lending an ear. It's important, guys. He's not making any understatement saying like this shit's an existential crisis.
He just feels like such a lack of control because like this business he started doing construction, it was only supposed to be a temporary thing. He started a couple years ago because he needed money, but like each year he's like, okay, then I'll do something else. But he's just been stuck in this trade, right? And you can just see that every day he's showing up and working 12 hours, but he doesn't want to. He got hit with a massive tax bill this year, which is, one of the things about Canada. When you own a business, you have to pay a lot of taxes, and the government makes it hard to make any kind of money at all. Like every
Bullshit.
Incentive to do good in society, the government's like, no. Here's another tax. So I had this other friend. He's a genius. Okay. He's super talented. He makes apps. He codes. The guy's a complete wizard. Okay. But he wants to be a musician. He doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about business. He's just doing it so that he can create his art. And that's something I empathize a lot with because that used to be me. Like when I was like 19 years old, I wanted to be a musician, but I knew I couldn't make a living doing it.
Listen, not trying to pitch, but look, if you're in this position where you're feeling like a hermit, where you're isolated and you maybe have a voice in you that's telling you need to go out and do something because the alternative is a nightmare scenario, join a private community. Doesn't have to be mine. We have one. I do 5 calls a week with guys, 1 hour or more, where we shoot a shit, talk about whatever it is that the topic of the day. I usually write entire you can see them. It's on the second channel. It's free. You can see what I talk about. Sometimes I post the conversations, snippets of them, what the other guys are saying. If I condense it, at least you can see what the topic is and what we're discussing. Some guys will stay on the call for 7 hours. Dude, I would go to bed 8 p.m. Bucharest, and I'll wake up 3, 4 in the morning, take a piss, and they're still in there talking, 4 or 5 dudes. It happens. So I could only imagine how cathartic it is for guys in the community to just have an ear lended to them by like-minded individuals. So if you'd like to join the private community, I'm plugging it in there just for the mental health aspect. Links are in the description below. If you want to see what it's like first, just go to the second channel, watch some of the videos. It's all self-improvement stuff, talking about relationships, talking about women, blah, blah, blah. The usual that you see on the channel being reacted to, except it's amongst men.
So I went into the trades, right? But just hanging out with him, he's like bunkered down, living like a recluse, like making this money online, like coding 14 hours a day, right? Yeah. One day I'll be able to escape. And he's just under so much pressure, so much demand to just make this money and pay his bills and manage everything. But like deep down, he is trapped. And it's weird because it's like most guys, especially during this age, 25 to 35, we're on a fucking hamster wheel and we're just running and running and running with no direction. Where are we going? What are we actually working towards? And that's not necessarily like how I think life was going to go. Because when you're in your early 20s, you're so optimistic, you're so happy. Oh man, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to do this. And then it's like, okay, but you need to get a job. In order to get a good job out of college, you need to have like minimum couple years experience, right? So, as soon as you graduate, you have to spend 2 or 3 years being an errand boy or like, just the guy that's willing to do everything and bottom of the company, just work his way up, which is good. That's normal. That's what hard work is. Okay. But then you get that job. Now you have some financial security. You got like a certain salary you're making, a certain wage, whatever it is. And then you have to do that. You're locked in for 40 hours a week. And maybe you get 2 weeks off per year vacation, maybe 3 weeks, right? Imagine that. You work essentially 96, 95% of the year. And then on top of that, if you make over $90,000 to $100,000, you're paying at least about 50, 60% in taxes, especially if you run your own business. So you're essentially working half of the year for free in order to get 2 weeks of vacation time. And
Maddening.
I've been an entrepreneur for the last couple.
It's soul crushing, dude. I remember working those 9 to 5s. I remember busting my ass for little pay, being a wage cuck slave, and just contemplating, staring at those lights up above me and between the aisles and go, is this my life? Is this my life? I dreamed of having an incredible life. I dreamed of traveling the world. This is how my life is going to be. I'm going to be a 9 to 5er, locked in a dead end job, no future. I can hardly save any money if I'm saving it at all. Dating is damn near impossible. No woman is going to take me seriously, wants to even take me seriously. I'm broke. I can't provide for a family even if I want one and found a decent woman that would stick by my side. I'm fucking starving here. This is stupid. What the fuck, bro? What do I have to do? Illegal shit? It's so fucked. And I know a lot of men are feeling that way, man. It's insane.
Of years. So I have my own set of problems, and for those of you that are business owners, you know what it's like. You're basically starting something from scratch, but in the long term, that's how you become successful, right? And one of the things I do is I help guys quit their jobs, their software jobs, etc., and start YouTube channels talking to the camera this. And I have a program, it's called 2 Hour Tuber. And it's basically how you can upload a couple videos a week, make enough money just in AdSense revenue and selling your own products, more than you would working a job for somebody else. And you just get to talk about what you want. So if you're interested in working with us, you can join 2 Hour Tuber. Links in the description. But like making that leap to do something that you want to.
It's possible.
It's just something that most of us don't feel is possible. And I have so many friends that are now kind of stuck in this trap, this existential crisis where they're like, okay, I'm around the age where my parents had kids and they had a house and they had a lovely girl. And, on weekends you drink with friends and you play sports and life's good, right? But now it's just...
You have nothing now. You're coming home to an empty place, no woman, forget kids. That's unreachable. Owning a house, that's unreachable today too. And what do you have to look forward to? Just gaming Call of Duty with some people you vaguely know or gamed over the years, and they're also in the same isolated position. You try to knock the edge off by jacking it to some porn video of some degenerate looking whore. You're disgusted with yourself afterwards. You're wondering, what the fuck is my life? I got to go back to a job I hate tomorrow. The only ounce of happiness I get is in a digital world when I power on the console and speak to some other humans that are interested in somewhat the same thing I'm interested in. This video game, this new release, this map, this game mode. Fuck, man. Then you got to go back out in the real world. Do this shit all over again, day in and day out, and you're not able to save much money because you're not earning much and your boss is an asshole, and there's no way to climb up the corporate ladder if there even is one because most people are in jobs, not careers. And what do? Bro, it feels like fucking dead end. I'm telling you, Most people today have a side hustle, whether legal or illegal. There's no other way to fucking survive. I dabbled in shit like that myself. You got to do what you can to survive, man, because playing it straight is not rewarded. Same shit he just said. You start to make a little money. I started my own business. I was successful. I made $100,000 a month by the time I was 27. I busted my fucking ass. I became a slave for my own company. I worked plus 100 hours a week easy. I had no weekends. I couldn't even contemplate what a weekend was because it felt like I was working nonstop. And seeing how much the government took, how much I had to pay for all the bullshit, the regulations, the bureaucracy, all the rules, all the fucking stipulations that need to be followed. And by the time I'm calculating what my overhead is, and after I've parted money with my workers and the fucking bullshit insurance and all this shit, I'm left with like $20,000. From 100, I'm left with like 20. Hell, less, because I'm splitting it with my co-owner. It took me and a co-owner to bootstrap ourselves into a successful business. Stupid. It's not easy. I wanted to quit so many times, and I felt exactly like it's this fucking useless. What am I doing? How am I ever going to succeed? Now I'm a business owner. Now people look at me like I'm successful, and yet still I'm fucking scrounging. I feel like it's not enough. Man, so many people are in that position. You just can't quit, because I had a breakthrough shortly after feeling like giving up. And that has happened. That's a consistent theme in my life and every other successful person's life. It's at the point at which you feel like quitting, like there is nothing else you can do, like it feels helpless, a breakthrough comes. It's just a lot of people just quit right before then, or give up, or put their foot off the pedal and start to coast, and just don't. There has to be another way out, because everything else is hell. That hermit lifestyle he's describing, or I've described as well, is fucking maddening. The lack of direction, the lack of purpose, the lack of motivation, the helplessness. It sucks. Society doesn't want to talk about it, because you're a man. You got to figure this shit out. Figure it out. How? Where's our mentors? They took them away. Boy Scouts don't even exist anymore. Shop class doesn't exist anymore. They told us go to college. Colleges hate all men, apparently. It's a toxic culture. Trades, well, no one wants to talk about trades, but there's many needs in trade jobs. Not very many men are going into them. And even then, there's a bit of an asterisk there, because it depends on the trade and where you're willing to work. Some guys don't want to leave their state. Well, that state may not have good paying jobs for trades, but you have to take risk, man. You have to move. Movement is life. You can't stay where you're at and expect a different outcome. Oh, I feel for you, man. I really do. You out there busting your ass, working hard, 2 jobs, side hustle, plus trying to make it in school, get educated, get a credential, get some piece of fucking bullshit paper that'll help you get paid more. I know. I've been there. It's not easy, man. Salute to you. Just keep pushing through. You have no other choice. Eliminate anything in your brain telling you that you should just take it easy, because the other side of easy is hell.
Just like there's this bubble that everybody seems to be stuck in, because most of my friends, they have so much potential. They have so many things that they'd be really good at, that they're just scared to take a chance. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was like Schmovid a couple years ago that really shook everybody up, but like just the financial uncertainty, the lack of trust in the government, the lack of trust in anything anymore. Like you can't believe what you hear in the news. You can't believe what you see on social media. Every job is potentially being replaced in a couple of years by AI, and you can't trust your employers that say that they love you forever, but they'll quickly fire you and replace you with somebody that'll work for less than you do. Overseas, especially, there's so many reasons for guys to just not believe anything anymore. And meanwhile, you're stuck in a gig that you don't enjoy. You're working long hours. It's a lot more difficult than ever before to date and make new friends. And it's not even because, like, look, in a lot of my videos, I help guys with social skills, and I have a program called Socializer School. It's where I help guys build social circles, approach and attract girls in real life and stuff. I usually work with guys that are making a good amount of money in their 30s, software engineers, that kind of thing, but they're struggling with dating, right? So they pay me and one of my coaches in my group, or they just get the program as it is, and they go through, they get a girlfriend and stuff. A big issue is approach anxiety and guys that don't want to do that. But I think that the main issue is a mental health issue. It's not a dating issue. It's a mental health issue, because so many guys would love to date, but they're just like, I'm not ready yet because, I got this job I'm working on. I need to put in more hours so I can get a promotion. I need to get the quarterly bonus, right? I need to be going to the gym constantly, because there's all these protocols I got to follow. I got to wake up 6 a.m. and I got to see the sunlight, and every hour of every day, guys are just focused on like 10 years from now. And this is where champions are set aside from like average people, I suppose. But it's like this hectic stress that we put into our lives because we have the weight of the world on our shoulders is actually what's isolating us and pushing us away from everybody. And that's the craziest thing, because like right now we should be enjoying this time. This is potentially the most fun of your life. A friend of mine, he spent years commuting, and he was working a personal training job and a security job, and he was just doing them back to back for like 16 hours a day. And he couldn't afford to live in the city, so he had to take the subway out of the city every single night. This was in New York. And, you know, he was telling me he had to drink like 3 extra large coffees a day just so he didn't fall asleep. And now he's successful, but he looks back on those times and he's like, man, those were the best times because I was just grinding, right? But the biggest issue I notice with guys is we're grinding. We still have all these emotions though. We still have these pains. We can work out all we want. We can make as much money as we want. We can go out and bang as many girls as we want, but the pain is still there. We're all running away from the same thing. And in my opinion, as much as you think that you need to wait to reach out to friends, you need to do something big or successful first so that you have something to talk about with them, there is no perfect time. You just got to reach out to them. You just got to spend time with them. You just got to hang out with them, because as guys, we are all going through the same existential crisis, but we all feel like, you know, there's an elephant in the room, but let's just...
Everybody's life just looks perfect, man, and nobody shares. And if you see an Instagram highlight reel, men are less prone to this stuff, but everybody's just putting their best foot forward, the best image of themselves. The mask is on, and nobody wants to be the one with the problems. That's all it is. And it sucks because it sucks you into thinking that everybody else is doing better than you. That's not true. They're just better at hiding their problems. That's what it is. And the comments are saying what men are going through is a natural reaction to an unnatural world. We weren't meant to live this way. I'm 30, but the problem is I have a lack in interest in anything. I don't want to make a passion or a career. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't really like people. I'm just unsatisfied with everything. Internal issue, you see? Just turned 32, and after busting my ass in my 20s for basically nothing, I find myself waking up every day to a pointless world with no room for me. Everything is overly sexualized. Women don't want families or marriage anymore. They want a photographer. So true. The economy is so goddamn bad, I can barely afford to pay rent, let alone anything remotely entertaining. Everyone is glued to their phones. You can go all day without even talking to anyone. The world has changed dramatically in the last 10 years. I have zero hope for this future. Sheesh, man. It's not a 25 to 35 thing. I'm 60 and my wife left me a year and a half ago. After 32 years of marriage and raising 6 kids together, she started working remotely for an ex-boyfriend from college who is now a multi-millionaire. Anyway, I now live alone in our home and she is gone. I talk to no one. I DoorDash to pay the bills. I'm thinking of self-delete. I'm seeing VA counseling. My kids are involved in their own lives and I rarely hear from any of them. I have no energy to do anything but work and then come home and sit in my chair. I feel like there is no purpose. Whoa. Look at this one. I'm 27 and desperately want to have a wife and children, but could barely afford my own living expenses. You see? It's like you're on autopilot. You get up, go to work, come home, and don't even know what you're working for. Then one day it hits you. Where has my life gone? What a fucking nightmare. Our war is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. And this guy says it's not better at 50. There are 2 phases for men now. Where is my life going? And how did I fuck up my life so badly? Sheesh. Ooh-yee. This is a rough one, guys. Anyways, let me know what your experience is with this topic that he's talking about. How isolated do you feel? How many friends do you have left? How old are you? Just share. It'd be interesting reading some of these comments. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.